right, let's start this thing. I'm gonna start the Anchor Pod. Heyo, welcome to the podcast, the Skulls and Knives podcast. Ooh, gonna have a fun show today. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. We are gonna talk about some really cool shit today, including my drag queen experience. That'll be fun and interesting. We're going to be talking about battery technology and a little bit about electric cars. And then we're going to talk about requiring the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. Then to end the podcast off, I'm going to be taking a BuzzFeed questionnaire about what Christmas person I'd be, essentially. All right. So let's get this thing started. Let's start with Hannah. Turn your volume down.
I'm trying.
She's trying. Hannah's here, everyone, and she is going to be my Jamie throughout the thing. So when she's posting around and stuff, make sure you're listening and watching out for what she's posting today, because she's going to kind of be my number two in the back end talking to you guys. So first things first, I have a special Facebook group now. If you want to be a special subscriber and supporter of the podcast, you can go to anchor.fm/scolds-and-knives and press the link to support Anchor. If you do the 99 cents, you are automatically uploaded, or you will be uploaded to the group. The best way to do that is just to message the Facebook group once you put in your 99 cent a month prescription. Handing out painkillers over here. Subscription. And that will get you access to the group. If you give $5 a month or $4.99, which is the middle section, you can also receive this sticker. For those of you listening, it's a sticker that we are having made by HDR Creations. And they say that Skulls and Knives podcast, and they look just like what you'll see in the thumbnail, which is this bad boy up here, this graphic. Then if you subscribe as a $9.99 a month or a $10 a month subscriber, then you get a free that will also have the design that's in the thumbnail, aka right here, and it will be a black shirt, and it'll have that fine white, and yeah. So again, if you do that, best way to get in the group, best way for me to get your t-shirt size and find you, all that stuff, get your address, is just message me on Facebook and I will get it. All right. The next thing we're doing with these stickers is we're doing a giveaway. So if you share and comment on the video that you've shared this video onto your page, then you will be entered to win this sticker at the end of the podcast. We will be randomly drawing somebody, and that lucky winner will get a sticker. And yeah, we'll message you and get that mailed to you as soon as possible. All right, so let's talk about my week for a second. Hannah, I've been watching The Mandalorian. That's pretty cool. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. I feel like I've turned her into a bigger Star Wars fan than she was before, and we ended up watching everything on Disney Plus that they have for Star Wars, with exception to the cartoons. And yeah, we're stoked for the new movie to come out, and yeah, Baby Yoda is pretty cute. Let's see, Everly and Oliver have been a little sick and annoying lately. So if I seem a little droggy, it's because I haven't slept much. This bad boy, this rock star, has been my lifesaver. Sugar-free though. Ollie is finally learning some words, which is nice. Ollie's my son. Everly's my daughter, in case you guys didn't know that. He says my sister-in-law's name, Ashley, as Ashley, which is really cute. He says daddy now, and he says hi, and he will give you a high five. So we're progressing. We're doing good. All right, let's talk about drag queen / pass out incident at the bar. So somebody runs up to the bar while I'm talking to the bartender. By the way, I work at a bar on the chat there. But someone runs up, it's like someone passed out at the bar. So we go in there, get the guy out, and totally zoned out, completely passed out drunk. He had apparently hit his head. And all of his friends were there. No one seemed to notice or care that this guy had passed out and hit his head. But there was in the group one with the heels and everything, 7'2" drag queen. She was pretty enough, But I thought, well, best description: red dress, super freaking tall, kind of like a glammed up tree beard. With the dress had shoulder pads that you could definitely fit two hobbits on, So, anyways, so no one cared. Ambulance comes, not the drag queen, not her friend. I mean, there's just like 20 people here that walked in with these. No one cares that this guy is like attended to by ambulance staff outside until they're all leaving. They're like, "Oh, that was our friend." And it's like, yeah, you guys are the only ones in the bar. That was essentially my week. Let's just get into the nitty-gritty stuff now. Let's talk about battery tech. So, gotta pull this quick. Wrong one. Here we go. All right. So there's been a solid-state battery breakthrough. This is from New Atlas. I will be posting a Facebook, Instagram post where all of this will be linked below. And then if you're watching on YouTube, all the links will be in there. If you're watching on or listening to it on any of the podcast platforms, you can go on Facebook and find where I'm referencing all this stuff. So this is New Atlas, which is a science news source. The article title is "Solid State Battery Breakthrough Could Double the Density of Ion Cells." So, break it down. Essentially, what it is the volatile, gross acid that's inside of batteries, binding all the ions together, is being replaced with this new liquid substance of lithium ion that will basically condense batteries by the battery storage by half. So you can basically get in the same size battery double the charge out of it. Let's see. The new technology uses a solid polymer material weakly bonded to the lithium ion to replace the volatile liquid solvents typically used as electrolytes in current battery cells. The liquid electrolyte is the part of the system that becomes flammable during the kinds of infamous battery fires Samsung would rather forget. So that's what we're talking about. In addition to making batteries safer, so this substance is way less flammable and volatile. The team believes that this solid polymer electrolyte will finally allow batteries to work with a lithium metal anode. That would be big news in the battery world, where the lithium anode has been recently described in trends in chemistry as critical to break. And we wonder why I had to take extra classes after high school to finish. Critical to break the energy density bottleneck of current lithium ion chemistry. the bottleneck that's stopping electric vehicles, aircraft, and portable electronics from developing at the pace that they should be. So it goes on to talk about how basically this could, if everything pans out, this is brand new. They still have to go through peer review testing, etc. It could turn the current peaking batteries of 250 watts per kilogram, which is what's in the Tesla Model 3 battery pack, to getting in the same size battery pack a 500 watt per kilogram. That would make the ranges twice as far. It would give you so much extra battery storage. And another big part of this, not only extending the battery for electric vehicles, means that maybe we could actually make electric airplanes. Because right now the problem has been the battery technology doesn't hold a large enough charge for us to get enough energy out there so that the planes can fly. I know it's a very scientific way to say it. But the other cool thing that this could do, I was talking to an engineering student that works for me, is that it could increase the level of storage we have for solar, which could be immensely, oh man, I'm blanking on words today. Not even immensely efficient. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Jamie. It could be immensely efficient, and because it would hold more watts, so you could store more for your house. You could pump more into the grid. A lot of the hiccups that come with solar is because of the battery technology. So, for instance, I have another little thing here. Anyways, yeah, that's basically where I'm going to go with that. So I think that's really cool because, well, so one of the biggest arguments I hear from people talking about electric cars, for instance, and why they don't like them is because of the range. You can go further with a gas engine. The amount of time it takes to charge, that's a big issue because it takes, 5 minutes max to fill up a tank of gas. And even at charging stations, it takes like 20 minutes to charge your electric car to full. And the other problem that a lot of people bring up to me is the fact that there aren't enough charging stations around. So a lot of the people I talk to would say, well, because I don't want to be stranded in the middle of the desert, which no one does. I want to be able to efficiently get where I'm going whenever I want to. Then I don't want these electric cars. My weird issue is that most of these people are also people that would say that that capitalism and the marketplace is how things should work. So in my head, if you want better battery technology, if you want more charging stations, if you want more more features, better electric vehicles to do all of these things, the only way that that sector of electric cars is going to get better is if more people buy them. Because if there's more demand, there's more money going into these companies. They can spend more money and more time on creating really cool stuff. And so I've never really gotten why people who believe those two things together make sense to me. But if that makes any sense to you, I would be surprised. Let's see. Do we have any comments on anything yet? Oh, man. Open up Facebook. Just open up. Thank you. Okay. Look, okay, we got some people on. Hi guys, how are you doing? Sounds like Star Trek stuff. All right. So what do you guys think about electric cars? What do you think about this new battery technology? Do you guys think it could be cool? I know that one person messaged me or said a comment on one of my Instagram posts asking for feedback on these topics so that we have a little bit to talk about. They said that they think electric cars are slow. Maybe, maybe when you're talking about the top of the top hypercars. Yeah, right now the electric cars are slower than the top of the top hypercars. But if you're just saying they're slow in general, that's ridiculous. Um, and just to bring up just one instance of these cars not being slow, let's turn to the Porsche Taycan Turbo. It's a new supercar from Porsche. It is entirely electric. It has up to 750 horsepower just in overboost activated with its launch control. It can go from standstill to 60 miles per hour in 2.6 seconds. And it has a top track speed, so not drag speed. Track meaning average of you driving around racetracks. Has an average track speed of 161 miles per hour. I guarantee you cannot get that in a Jeep. Hell, you can't even get that with the old Porsches. I don't know much about cars, but I do know one thing, and that's fucking fast. That is scary fast. Actually, I was listening to the last Joe Rogan podcast where he has this YouTuber car guy on. I don't remember his name, but they were talking about this car in particular. Why I wanted to talk about it, I'll mention it for a second. And the car guy, who is not a huge fan of electric cars in general, from what I gather from the podcast, what could not say enough dope things about this car and how fast it was, how well it controlled, and it was a monster on the track. And so I think to just write off all electric cars because they're not fast, first of all, it doesn't matter if they're super fast or not. And second of all, they are super fast. I mean, you're talking about instant torque. You're talking about in a gas engine, you have to build up torque and build up your horsepower and slowly, like boom, boom, like get it up, 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 up. In an electric car, it's there. Touch the gas, boom, it's there. And it's quiet, so you can like meditate in your car and shit. Anyways, that's my 2 cents about electric cars. They are fast. Oh yes, someone else mentioned on Instagram as well about oh man, what did they talk? Oh yeah. About self-driving cars and what I think about the future of self-driving cars and what happens when the first one gets in an accident. What happens when the first one runs over somebody, which has already happened with Uber, the Uber self-driving taxis. I don't remember where exactly that happened, but it happened. And what I think about that is essentially, I think it's a cool technology. I don't know if we'll ever get anywhere with self-driving cars, at least as far as like having taxi services and like being able to just ride share everywhere. That sounds great, but I don't know if, at least in America, our independent spirits will let us hop on that train anytime soon. But I think it's the same with any technology that can be risky and dangerous. Let's talk about regular cars. I mean, how long did it take us to get rules and regulations where we have today? I mean, how long did it take us from the first car to get seatbelts? Long time. How long did we figure out Traffic lights. How long did we figure out how? Oh, we need to have this much crunch space in the bumper so that when we get into accidents, we're not flying everywhere. How do we install brakes so that there's a legal way to install brakes, and there's a legal tread that you can have on your tires. All these things came over time. You know, when the first Model T was out, none of that stuff was there. It was a free for all. Just go for it. We were driving along next to horse and buggy, and probably millions of people died in car accidents leading up till now. Maybe even billions. I don't know. I don't know about that much, but millions of people have died in car accidents. Say that fairly confidently, and they just get safer and safer and safer. I mean, airbags. When did those come? Like the 50s, maybe earliest airbags in the 50s. I don't know, but when was the earliest airbag pulled up? Can you Google that? All right, we're gonna find out when the earliest airbag was. But yeah, so I think it's just a technology that, unfortunately, there are going to be. What?
1941.
1941 was when the airbag was invented.
For automobile use traces its origins to air-filled bladders as early as 1941. Also credited independently to the German engineer Walter Linder.
Walter Linder, shout out to that. Well, shout out to Walter Linder for saving a bunch of lives.
Who in 1951 registered for the first of his airbag patents.
Okay, so he registered for the patent.
In 1950.
It was patent. It was designed in 41 and patented in 51.
Yeah, but by another person.
Okay, but it was patented by another person in 51. Yeah. So, when was the first legal car on the road? Curious about that. Because, I mean, the first legal car was, oh man, when was the Model T?
A long time.
Like early 1900s though, right? Like, or late 1800s? And then you didn't have airbags till then. I mean, it's a new technology that I think is going to slowly come.
On January 29th, 1886.
January 29th,
1886.
Was the first patented
for a gas-fueled car.
For a gas-fueled car.
There was a three-wheeler, and in 1891, the first four-wheel car was invented.
In 1891, first four-wheel car. So
now the Model T was invented in 1908.
1908 was Model T. So first biggest production car is 1908, and then you wait until the 50s till we have airbags.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? So like this technology takes a little while to move forward, and so I mean, the people died then. So I think the tech for electric cars and trucks will accelerate exponentially, just like cell phone and computer tech. I think so too. I think it's gonna go crazy. I mean, look at my dad. They barely had cell phones in high school. They were massive bricks the size of their faces. I think that you guys had car phones, right? And then now look at me. I have a supercomputer in the palm of my hand. So I think I agree. All that tech's just going to keep moving forward and getting better and better. My dad says the lives saved by the Germans in 1941 were quickly outweighed. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, it sucks because like without the Nazis, we wouldn't have the Autobahn. That's a funny thing I learned on that Joe Rogan podcast the other day too. I highly recommend if you're interested in electric cars or cars in general to go listen to that one. Yeah, the Autobahn and the I'm blanking on the other big race. But they were designed by Nazis as like our cars are even better than the rest of the world. fucking Nazis and we're the best. Anyways, all right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Anyone who's newly tuning in, we are giving away the stickers, Skulls and Knives podcast stickers. If you would share the video and comment share underneath, we will enter you in the drawing to win one. Win a sticker, win a sticker. So next topic we're going to talk about is the one I've been kind of dreading a little bit. Just because I'm nervous about talking about it, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the link right now. We're going to talk about this article here. Open it up. All right. Arizona lawmaker wants to require students to say the Pledge of Allegiance. This is from Fox 10 Phoenix. An Arizona lawmaker has filed a bill that would require public school students to recite the pledge every day in class. House Bill 2017 was filed by Representative John Fillmore, who is vice chairman of the Education Committee and represents Apache Junction area. Under the bill, all public school students from kindergarten to high school seniors would be required to recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag every single day in class. So, where I take issue in this is forcing anyone to do anything, especially when it comes to speech, because that is clearly laid out in the Constitution as we have freedom of speech. We're allowed to say, for the most part, anything we want, as long as it's not harming anyone else. And I don't see why you would need to require, and require means that there would be some sort of penalty for not complying with standing up and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Which I think it's first of all, to do that to children as a parent is kind of shitty. And then on top of that, you have the freedom of speech argument, which I just don't understand why anyone like the argument against that. I'm not saying that like you should not say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not saying you should not have the Constitution posted up. I'm not saying you should not have a flag posted up in every classroom. That's fine. That's cool. It's like the founding of our country. It's awesome. But, or even saying the Pledge of Allegiance, saying like, hey guys, we're going to stand as a class and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But penalizing and forcing students to say it, I think is outrageous. Like it's some words, just words. Why do you have to force someone to say them? And sorry, conservatives, I'm going a little rant here. I lost my words for my rant all of a sudden. But to be so adamant about having all these liberties, to be so adamant about having rights. I'm adamant about having rights too. What am I trying to say here? Try not to be a dick, but also say a clear and concise point. Well, let's just go. Oh my lord, this is annoying. I am losing all of my words. It's all this stuff. The most un-American thing that exists is forcing someone to say the pledge. I agree. The most un-American thing is forcing someone to say the pledge. Thank you, Father. I agree. I just don't see how people who can claim that, like, oh, I need the freedom to have my gun, and the Second Amendment is the most important thing, blah, blah, blah. Which I'm all for, too, by the way. Can then go and turn around and say, oh, but you're forced to do this. No, you cannot force me to turn in my guns. You cannot force me to sell my land. You cannot force me to do anything, but I will force you whatever I want. And that runs both sides, really. Like, for instance, the far left would go, you cannot force me to be straight. You cannot force me to conform to your gender roles, but I will force you to say my name how I want you to say it. You can't use any other way. You cannot use misgendered language, blah, 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 blah. It goes, it's both, it's the same thing. We have freedom of speech. Now, for me personally, if someone comes to me and is like, hey, I identify as this gender, or I want to be referred to as they, them, etc., I'm going to be like, cool, that's fine. I will totally do that for you. Why? Because I'm a nice person and I want to have good communication with people. But then turning around and penalizing people by taking away their Facebook accounts or Twitter accounts or YouTube accounts because they misgendered someone or used their old name, I think. But that goes back to this argument, because this is on the far right, saying, hey, you must say the Pledge of Allegiance. This is America, God damn it. It's like, yo, we're all Americans. We're all just trying to be here. We're all trying to live. We're all trying to scrape our way through, live the American dream, be the best we can be. Like, why the fuck do we have to be so combative about everything and force each other to do shit? It's dumb. It's a dumb way of going about it. Both on far left, far right, it's all stupid. People need to come together a little bit more. We need to see eye to eye. At least try to. Try to come to middle ground more often. Anyways, little rant is over. I'm going to talk more about this topic because I have some references here about the changing of this. Because one of the main things that I also hear about this saying the Pledge of Allegiance is because we are one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Under God wasn't added to the Constitution until that is, or not the Constitution. I'm sorry. It was endowed by our Creator is in the Constitution. What I mean is, it's not in the Pledge of Allegiance until 1954, I believe. And it's been changed a whole bunch. 1943, the court changed its course. Okay, this is what I want. All right. First, in 1940, the case of Minersville School District versus Gobbets. That is horrible. Gobbitis. It's Gobbitis. The court held that a public school could force students who were Jehovah's Witnesses to salute the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Justice Felix Frankfurter wrote in the majority opinion that, oh man, why did judges have to write such hard words? Conscientious scruples have not, in the course of the long struggle for religious toleration, relieved the individual from obedience to a general law not aimed at the promotion of restriction of religious beliefs. So obey. Essentially, you must obey. Well, and to be fair, before that, the Pledge of Allegiance did not have under God in it. 1943, the High Court changed its course in West Virginia State Board State Board of Education versus Barnett, where the majority revised the Gobbets decision and held that free speech clause of the First Amendment prohibits public schools from forcing students to salute the American flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance. So it was reversed, and so you don't have to do it. Now, let's point out this. Later in the decade, some people added the words "under God," quote unquote, to the pledge, and in 1954, President Dwight Eisenhower signed a bill passed by Congress and put the words "under God" within the phrase "one nation indivisible," and it's been edited on and off since then. One of the more notable cases was in 2004. The Supreme Court ruled in a case brought by an atheist who said a California school's pledge requirement violated his daughter's rights under the First Amendment Establishment and Free Exercises Clause in Elk Grove United School District versus New Dow. The Supreme Court did not end up ruling on the legality of the words "under God" in relation to the First Amendment. Instead, I'm misquoting it. Instead, Justice John Paul Stevens said that New Dow didn't have a standing to bring the suit because he lacked sufficient custody over his. So rather than actually deal with it, they were like, well, you don't have full custody of her, so we're going to just dismiss the case because it doesn't matter. In my opinion, that's probably what happened. Anyways, it's just a long, massive clusterfuck with this, and I think that the founding fathers were pretty clear that they wanted separation of church and state, and so that's what we should have: it's a separation of church and state when it comes to having "under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all" inside the Pledge of Allegiance. Should be taken out, and we shouldn't require anyone to say it. I mean, we don't have time really to dive super deep into it, but we could talk for hours about whether or not all of the founding fathers were Christian for reals. I mean, we talk about Benjamin Franklin. He was on the far left of the Christianity, basically viewing it as more as a book of parables to live your life by, not as in God is, this God as the Christians believe, as I used to believe, is this omniscient being and all powerful. We're a nation under God. But even then, adding the Creator in there, referencing, was, I think, in my personal opinion, seems to be more of a way to justify it to the common person. Like, hey, we were all given these rights by our Creator. I think it could also be a phrase at the time, which I read this somewhere. It's being very vague, but this author seemed to have the idea that saying them using the Creator was more of a way of generalizing like higher being in general. But anyways, have people been commenting and I just can't see it?
No.
No? You guys suck. I'm just kidding. You guys don't suck. And some people have been commenting, and I want to thank you guys for commenting. Yeah, you guys should comment. We should comment about this stuff. Talk about it. I'm open to your opinions. But I think right now is a good time to end all the heaviness because I'm tired. My brain hurts. My throat hurts. You can mention your final comments. We'll get to them after we take the BuzzFeed quiz. This. I have another reference here on that last topic. Romans and the Pledge of Allegiance goes. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's fine. we'll move on. We will move on to the BuzzFeed quiz. Yeah. All right. All right, from BuzzFeed, these 9 yes or no questions will reveal which classic Christmas character you are. Do I like Christmas? Yes. Do you like to buy presents for others? I mean, yeah. It's part of Christmas. Do I like making Christmas cookies? They don't have a fuck yes answer, so I'm just gonna have to say yes. Do I like cold weather? Well, let's actually stop talking about this for a second. So, living in Arizona for a long time, I loved cold weather. I loved because it was a treat. It's never cold in Arizona, like not really. But since moving to Portland, I found that like I still like rain a lot. I still get excited when it rains. I'm like, ooh, yay, it's raining. Not as excited as when it rained in Arizona. But when it gets really cold and I have to add like 9 or 10 layers, it gets really fucking old. And I just don't like it. So I'd have to say no. I was actually going to say yeah, but no, I don't like cold weather. Do I like Christmas music? Hell to the fuck no. Until Eve. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, I love Christmas music. I hate the fact that they just keep pushing Christmas music back further and further. Like, I mean, we're almost starting Christmas music in October. Like, basically, from the start of November, they start adding Christmas music on the radio stations. You're like, what the hell is going on? Every department store you walk by, it's like, it's the most wonderful time. It's like, dude, it's 65 outside. It is not Christmas time. Leave it alone. We got a whole nother month. We got to eat turkey first, and then it's the Christmas month. My problem with them pushing it back in October is that I love Halloween so much, is that I want Halloween. The whole month of October is Halloween. So when I start hearing Christmas music like several days before Halloween at department stores with their Halloween decorations and stuff, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Let's be creepy for a minute. Stop. Enjoy the scent of rotting flesh and just enjoy the creepiness and the skulls and knives. So no, I fucking hate Christmas music. Do you like to travel during the holidays? I mean, so this is a trick question. Do I like getting on an airplane with children that I'm in charge of? Not really. That's no fun. If you've ever done it, it fucking sucks. But do I like going to my parents' house? Yeah. But the way this question is phrased, do you like to travel during the holidays? No, I don't enjoy the traveling, but I do enjoy my destination. So let's assume with no, I don't. You like visiting the family during Christmas? Well, I just described yes, I love to go back to Arizona and have Christmas with my family. I also like having Christmas with my family here, but I just don't get to see my mom and dad in Arizona. And as much as I love my in-laws here, it's nice to go back. So I will say I like visiting friends and family during Christmas. Do you like helping out with Christmas dinner? I love. Okay, so first of all, yes. Second of all, I love to cook. And my in-laws, my immediate family, they like want to cook for me because it's my job. Like I cook all the time. But like I actually enjoy doing those big dinners. Like I enjoy cooking for people I love. Like it's fun. It's like awesome. I mean, if you've never cooked for someone before, cook for them. Someone you love, cook for them. You need to. Great experience to see them eat something even halfway decent. You know, if it's edible, they're going to be thankful and like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't have to get up there and use a saute pan. Like, Hannah is always stoked when I have nights off, like tonight, because I get to make dinner. She doesn't have to. And so, even though I just made chicken and rice and some like weird cream and mushroom gravy tonight, and then some green beans, it was nothing crazy. I made it in like 30 minutes, but it tasted good. Everyone ate it, and it was nice to be able to cook for someone. And then when you add the specialness of Christmas dinner, then heck yeah. Make it a 4-day event. I'm going to be cooking the hell out of that. I can. Do I like wrapping presents? No, I don't. I'm really bad at it. That's why I don't like doing it. Hannah makes perfect corners, gets the ends all wrapped up nice, perfectly taped. I'm just like, can you see it anymore? No, call it the bow on that weird cut and Christmas. Why do we need to buy cards to put on there? Just cut out a piece of paper and write to Ty from Caleb. Cool, and then roll the tape, put it on there. But no, she's like, I gotta get the tag, the little sticky side on it, so it goes on there perfectly flat. I gotta spend 30 minutes on each gift, making every corner perfect and symmetrical. And I'm just like, can you see it? No, cool. Call it a day. Just throw it in a bag, try it, Walmart bag, write Christmas on it. It'll be fine. So no, I don't. Wow, I got Ebenezer Scrooge is the character I am most like. Ah, humbug. You don't understand the point of Christmas, and you don't like to spend your money on gifts for anyone except yourself. I do like buying myself gifts. So if Scrooge is into that, I'm into that. But I also like buying other people gifts. It's fun. Um, and I love Christmas. I just don't like all the dumb shit that goes along with Christmas. So I'm kind of Scroogey.
You're very sketchy.
Yeah, I know.
Only sometimes. Only every day but Christmas.
Yeah, I'm Scroogey up until Christmas Day. Or Christmas Eve more so. I like Christmas Eve. All right. Looks like my father, which, by the way, the end of this month, my dad is going to be on the podcast. We are doing a segment called Fuck You Dad, which every other month of the year is going to be remotely recorded. And probably won't be live feeded, honestly, because that sounds like a pain in the ass. But we're going to be on, or he's going to be on the podcast live once a month for the Fuck You Dad segment. And we're going to be talking culture, politics, etc. Just anything new that happened that month, giving our opinions. It'll probably be a little bit longer than an hour, if I'm honest, because we like to fucking talk. Yeah, but the first one is going to be live streamed on Facebook because I'm going to be home for Christmas. So make sure you look out for that. Anyways, so my father commented, imagine how strong America would be if Americans could embrace American principles apart from Judeo-Christian language, liberty and unity based on goodness and righteousness, and the collective good are much stronger than those based on any one religion. I could not agree more. Guys, this is coming from a guy who used to be a Baptist pastor. And we want to go back even further. He was an independent, fundamental Southern Baptist worship leader. Very, very Baptist. And this is coming from this guy. And like I grew up with it too. So like coming from both ends, both sides of coming out of the church. It's pretty interesting. I mean, we'll talk more on his. I don't want to speak for him, but for me, that's something that was so ingrained growing up from not necessarily my parents, but from the churches that we were involved in. And it was like, especially when you're talking about Baptists, it's funny because if you look at the old days Baptists, they were like, we need separation of church and state really bad, and they were some of the biggest proponents of the separation of church and state. And now they are some of the biggest proponents of combining the two. Funny, right? Anyways, I agree, Dad. I wish more people would take religion out of politics and just focus on being a united front as America. It's more love, man. Need more love. I know it sounds weird from a guy who's bald with a pro wrestling poster here on a podcast called the Skulls and Knives podcast with some brass knuckles above his head, but we need more love. Need more love. Dumb bullshit. More chairs.
No shares.
Shares. More shares. That too.
You ruined it.
I ruined the joke. I ruined a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Ruined this joke. I probably ruined this podcast for several people over and over again because I'm new to this and still collecting my thoughts. But I want to thank you guys all for tuning in, checking us out at the Schools and Knives podcast. Do some final plugs again. So again, we have a special Facebook group. If you are a sponsor of the podcast, you can become a sponsor by going to anchor.fm/skulls and knives and clicking on the sponsor podcast. If you do 99 cents, you can become part of the Facebook group. It'll be a special Facebook group where only other supporters can be on there, and free range. We talk about anything, open it up. I'll be on there every day. It'll be lots of fun. Anyways, so 99 cents gets you that. The $4.99 gets you a hat and a sticker. Golden Knife sticker. And then if you do the $9.99 or $10, you will get a Schools and Knives t-shirt. If you do any of those, Anchor will let me know that you have done so, but I would also recommend that for the ease of you to get your stuff and get in the Facebook group to message the Skulls and Knives podcast on Facebook and let us know that you did that, and then I can add you to the group and we can get your information to do a shirt or now I think we're going to do the drawing for the sticker.
Yep, just give me 1 second.
All right.
Making sure that everybody who shared enters.
All right. We're making sure that everyone who shared today is entered in there to do it.
Last time, tell anybody who's watching.
If you're watching and you want a sticker, you got to share. You got to share, and we're going to do a drawing right now to see if you win a sticker. So let us know right now. I'm surprised that BuzzFeed told me I was a Scrooge because I have this sitting right next to me. It's a beautiful little Christmas tree. Light up. Oh, it's Everly's. It's out of batteries. Yeah, it lights up. It's nice and pretty. What's the name of the dirt baby?
I don't know.
Here, Facebook. Why don't we name this guy? This is Everly's dirt baby. He's got a crooked nose. That's okay. We don't judge here. His hair's a little disheveled. But he did just get a haircut. And essentially what he is he's a stocking filled with dirt and grass seeds. And it's like a make-your-own chia pet. What should we name him? Let us know in the comments or send us a message on Facebook, and we will decide next week what his name will be.
Right.
All right. Let's do this thing, Hannah.
Right.
Let's finish it off. Let's kill this thing. Who's going to win the sticker?
I mean, I do know.
You do know?
Yeah, I wrote it down for you.
Oh, did you already randomly pick one? Oh, okay.
I used a generator online.
Okay.
Yes.
What generator did we use?
Random decision generator.
Random decision generator. And you just added everyone's name in there?
I just added names, yep.
Cool. Well, can we get a drum roll, please?
Okay.
We have a winner for the sticker. It's my father, Jason.
I know.
Can we pick someone else?
I thought I was going to, but then I couldn't because that would be unethical to me.
Well, let's pick someone else because he's already getting a sticker and a t-shirt.
Okay. So your mom or Katie?
No, because she's getting a sticker and a t-shirt too.
So Katie wins then. Katie.
All right, Katie, you shared. You win the sticker because the only other two people who shared were my parents, which have already become full subscribers.
Well,
so
they said shared, so they entered into the drawing.
They did enter into the
So
drawing.
if they want another sticker.
If you want another sticker, I'll send you another sticker. But Katie, you get a sticker for free. Message us on Facebook. We'll try and message you first, and we'll get you that sticker. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. Why can't this open up? All right. All right, bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Skulls and Knives. See you next week. Bye, y'all.